You are now listening to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. Please begin to take that good deep breath as we begin to refresh, recharge, and reset. Let's go. Welcome to Renewed Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cook Hall. As always, it is my honor. It is my pleasure to be able to come and share some tips and some tools that I know will assist you in becoming a better you. Listen, let me go ahead and get my spiel real quick. Let me go ahead and remind you the whole motto of this podcast. That it does not matter how many mistakes you made. It does not matter how many poor choices you have made. No matter where you are right now in your life, you can start all over again. That's right. You can click that reset button, and you, ladies, you gentlemen, can start all over again. I need you to give yourself a second chance. I need you to remind yourself, the person that you are right now, that you deserve it. That you are worthy of a second chance. Can you do that for me today? Can you please look at where you are right now? Go ahead and begin to speak life to yourself. Go ahead and begin to encourage yourself and tell yourself, you know what? I can do this. You know what? I can make it. You know what? It is okay. It is okay for me to start all over again. Yes, I made poor choices. Yes, things have been hard. Yes, things have been difficult. Yes, things have been challenging. Yes, I never ever thought that I would be where I am right now. But guess what? I can start all over again. I want you to do something that you probably do not do often, because I had to learn that for me. I want you to encourage yourself. I want you to congratulate yourself on a new beginning. Congratulate yourself on progression and new steps that you've made. Go ahead and give yourself the accolades that you deserve. Sometimes we wait on others to come and show us that love and that support and congratulate us and tell us keep going. But let me tell you, sometimes you have to learn to do what? Encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Be your own cheerleader. Be what you are looking for others to be. Be that for yourself. Give yourself this very much needed second chance. You deserve it. You deserve it. Here we go. Saying, oh, you don't understand what I've been through. You don't understand the terrible things that I've done. If you did, you would never say that I deserve a second chance. I put myself here. I did this to myself. Nobody did this to me. I did this. So because I did this to myself, I deserve to be where I am. And I came to tell you that it's not true. Grace. May grace be your portion. May you recognize that we all make mistakes, and some, of course, are more severe than others. But once you recognize and you identify, that, yeah, I made these poor choices, I made these bad decisions. Yes, I put things into my body that I shouldn't have, and now I'm suffering. I've allowed things to be done to my body, and now I'm suffering. I've allowed things to come into my thinking, and now I'm suffering. Come on, somebody. But you still deserve a second chance. And that's what I'm here today to remind you, that you do deserve a second chance. I want you to go ahead and take that good deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and let it all out through your mouth. Do that a couple of times and just shake off. Move your shoulders around, move your neck around, whatever it takes for you to get comfortable today. I do that because it's something about like not only mentally shaking things off, but you begin to like physically imitate shaking things off. I used to do this all the time, you guys, with people that I was like teaching music and We're having rehearsals for, events or choir rehearsals or drama clubs and all this stuff. I love to do that, to show them, to shake everything off and let it go so that you can focus. Sometimes it's difficult to focus when you're carrying a lot of things on you, right? So we're going to start our day. We're going to start our podcast, and we're going to talk about the topic today. I was thinking about this topic, and sometimes I'm really trying to meditate on what needs to be said, what needs to be shared, right? Because somebody is listening that really needs to hear something. Like somebody is going through something or facing this giant in their lives, and they need. I'm not talking, like just entertaining, but they need to hear something, right? We're not entertaining, we're sharing, we're giving, we're empowering. So today, what came to me is, what is your default setting? What is your default setting? Now, you know that anything that you get has a default setting, and you go and you adjust the setting on the product so that it can best fit you, right? And sometimes even when something becomes corrupt, like a system or a software, computers or whatever, right? We go back and we do the default setting so that we can begin to restore that, right? And then we can add on what we need to add on. So I wanted to ask you a question today. I want you to think about it. I don't always do this. I don't give you a moment to think about what I'm talking about. But today I have the time. And I really, really want you to get this today. So I want you to think about this question. What is your default setting? Say that to yourself. What is my default setting? I have asked myself this question. The thing is your default setting worry? Is your default setting to wait? Is your default setting to run? So here we go. Do you worry? Do you wait? Or do you run? Have you made adjustments to your default setting? Or have you just stayed where you are, worrying, running? Or do you just wait? What is your default setting? See, it came to me. I'm aware that based upon situations and circumstances, some of us have a default setting of worrying. We haven't made any adjustments. We have not personalized it to benefit us. We have stayed in this place of worry. Something comes, some bad news come, some situations, circumstances, conditions come, and we go immediately to worrying. There is no benefit in doing it, but we have done it so long, we have put it to practice so long, that that's immediately where we go. That is our default setting. Some of us have learned to wait. Circumstances, situations, bad news, conditions, all these things come about. And some of us learn to wait. They wait to see what's going to happen. They wait and they pray to see what they should do next, the next steps, the lane that they should take, the path that they should take. They wait. They don't worry, but they wait because they learned over time that worrying does not produce anything for them. Worrying does not bring anything good for them. So they wait. They wait and see if it's going to change. They wait to see what the answer is. Because some of us in the worry default setting, we worry before we even get an answer. You know, a doctor can say, well, I see something that looks abnormal on this test. We need to bring you back in to do more tests. So their default setting goes straight to worry, and they haven't gotten the results. All they heard was that there was something that was abnormal. They go straight to worry, right? The other default setting of waiting, they say, well, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to worry while I wait. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to pray. And I'm going to trust God that whatever goes on, He got me, and we're going to see this thing through. Then you have the runner, the one who is not waiting, who don't have even the time to worry because they're just avoiding everything. Circumstances, situations, conditions come about, and they're just not. No. They almost in denial. No, not in a good way. Not like, oh, I'm not accepting that. Like, I'm not going to deal with that. Nope. They're runners. I've met these type of people. Runners. They're not going to face it. They're not going to deal with it. They're going to act like it don't exist. The doctor comes, same scenario, come with this test result. We see something abnormal. We need to follow up, get you more tests. Thank you. Have a good day, doctor. They're running. They're gone. Not participating. Not even going to look into it anymore because no. They can't face things. They don't want to face things. They avoid things as if I avoid it's going to go away. If I avoid it's not happening. If I just pretend like they didn't say it, then my body will remain in good standing and my health is going to be good. And this is all, this is not right. I'm not going to deal with this. Those are runners. You know you. I know me. So what is your default setting? Do you have another setting that don't fit in this category? What is your default setting? I only picked 3 today, but there's so many default settings. And what is yours? When things come in your life that you didn't plan, you didn't see it coming, come on, it happens. Come on, somebody. Let's be honest with one another today. There are things that come into your life, come into my life that we didn't plan, we didn't foresee it, we didn't expect it, we don't want it at all. It's horrible. It's traumatic. It's not good. Right? And if we would have known, we would have done everything we could to avoid it happening, right? But it happened. So how do you respond? How do you respond? What is your default setting? What have you put into practice? What have you put into practice so much that as soon as something comes, that's your first thing? That's the first thing you do. We need to be intentional about what we're putting into practice. I've said this before because it's just the truth. We have done things over and over and over again, and it has become just crafted into us. Crafted into us, into our lives, to our responses, into our day, to our months, into our years. This is just something. It's not always good. It's not always good, but it's what we know. We talked a bit about before in one of the podcasts, people who are comfortable with chaos. I never understood it. But we can get comfortable with chaos because what? It's familiar to us. It's familiar. With something that's familiar, some people would take something that's familiar all day than to make a change. They would take the chaos, the nonsense, any day because it's something that they're familiar with. And to be honest, that is something that used to really puzzle me. How can you want to continue to be in something that is uncomfortable, that is chaotic, that is messy, that is just drama every day, just drama. It's new day, same drama. New day, same drama, right? But the reality of it is, it's familiar. It's their default setting. get up in the morning, screaming, yelling, complaining, mad, angry, stressed. No matter what it's doing to their bodies. Because, all of that eventually begins to wear and tear on your bodies. But, hypertension and all this, regardless of what that's doing to their bodies, it's still their default setting. What is your default setting? When something comes in your life that you didn't expect, do you run to alcohol? Do you run to drugs to numb your pain? Is that your default setting? Be realistic with yourself today. What is yours? Do you run and pray? Is that your default setting, to run and pray? To worship? What is your default setting? There are many people who, when something bad happens, they cannot cope and they go to drinking. And I'm talking about abuse of drinking. Not getting you a glass of wine or a little drink. No, we're talking about becoming pure drunk so that they don't have to think and face what it is that has come to them. Taking drugs to the point where they are, for a moment, if I could just not feel. Come on, somebody. If I could just not feel. Because guess what? When it wears off, it hurts. It hurts. Somebody's screaming, it hurts today. When I'm not numb with alcohol and drugs, it hurts. So that's why that's my default setting. Because I'm hurting. I don't want to think about what I've been through. I don't want to think about the abuse. I don't want to think about the hurt. I don't want to think about the pain. I don't want to think about the betrayal from those who are supposed to love me, care for me, take care of me, but they rejected me, they abused me, they hurt me. I don't want to think. I don't want to feel. So my default setting is drugs. My default setting is alcohol. My default setting is to put up this wall so that no one can come in ever again and do those things to me ever again. So I live an isolated life as if nothing bothers me, as if I don't care about anything. Nothing ever again will be able to penetrate through my wall and hurt me again. Nothing. Is that your default setting? Come on. Or are you a warrior where you go to prayer? Something comes, the first thing you say is, wait a minute, give me a minute. I gotta go take this to the Father. I have to pray. There has been moments in my life where things, I have told you, snatched my breath away. And you know what, sisters, brothers, you know what I do? I've learned to do it. I had to learn to do it. I had to learn because every other setting didn't work. But when I become overwhelmed, I become frustrated, I run to the Father. And I begin to pray. I begin to worship Him. I begin to tell Him that I trust Him. That although this is more than I can bear, it's not something that He cannot bear. That He's equipped to take this load, this concern, this problem off my shoulders. My shoulders are not equipped to handle and carry this load. So He is a burden bearer. And He is a heavy load sharer. And I take it to Him. And I learn to leave it there. It has not always been easy to do that. Because at one point, my default setting used to be worry. My default setting was to concern myself with everything that I could not control. To try and figure out everything. And it was too much. It was too much. because I was putting myself in a position that I never should have been in the first place. I was putting more on me than I was designed to take. I had to realize that that's not where I was supposed to be. My default setting should never be worry. My default setting should never be run. My default setting should never be drugs. My default setting should never be alcohol, and neither should it be for you. Because these default settings are not designed for you to be better, for you to be whole, for you to be healthy, for you to practice strength or to have strength or to have joy or to have love. Because if there is worrying and running and drugs and alcohol and all these things in there, then there will be a presence of fear. And when there is a presence of fear, there is no presence of love. Hear me again. Where there is a presence of fear, there will be no presence of love. So I want you to think today intentionally. You know, I believe in saying intentionally and being purposeful, right? Intentionally today, I want you to think about what your default setting is, or settings. Sometimes it could be a mixture. It could be a mixture. So let's see, what is your default settings? Because I think that sometimes based upon a scenario, just like based upon the settings for products, depending on what we're using and what we're applying, we change our default settings. If that makes sense to you. Let me give you a perfect example. When we look at the product of our iron, based upon what we're ironing, we change our default settings for that iron. So you might have a setting for your iron that is, for cotton, right? And then you might change it. Your default setting may be good for like something with silk, or because it comes with a setting, right? But then you might change your setting specifically for when you use like, silk, and then change it for cotton, and then change it for wool. I mean, we changed them, right? But it's always that same setting for whatever we're using it on, right? So sometimes your default setting is definitely worry. That's your default setting, but then you may adjust your setting, and it might be, for something else that might hit harder. You might go to, I'm going to do alcohol. I'm going to do drugs. Or it might be the opposite. You might, worry about your finances, and worry to death about your physical body and your health and all that. But then you might adjust your settings based upon, something that, it's not a big deal to you. And so you won't go to worry, and you'll wait to see how that works out because it's not a big deal to you. So you wait. So are you mixing your settings? And if that's the truth, what should be consistent when it comes to life circumstances or situations? What best works for you? I've already said I believe that worrying and drugs and alcohol and all these things are not good default settings. I don't think you should adjust settings to hit that when you are under stress. When you're under stress, I don't think those should be settings for you. I don't think you should run either and avoid it. I don't think you should pretend like it doesn't happen and it doesn't exist and all that because it doesn't make it go away. I don't think that should be your default setting either. So what setting can you put into place for your life that will cause you to wait a minute. Let me pause. Let me think. Let me go and let me do some time of meditation and prayer, so I can get my stature up, so I can get my posture right. What is your default setting? People have, especially now, I've been hit with some awful news and some things. The first thing you want to do is begin to worry and be mad or be frustrated or be angry or whatever. As your default setting, it's the first thing you want to do. But is it going to benefit? Is it going to help? Is it going to change the situation for the better, or is it going to make things worse? And that's your reality. What are you doing, and is it making it better, or is it making it worse? Because what you want to do is make sure that you're putting into place settings that is going to help you to become better. That's going to make the situation better. This is all about improving. It's all about becoming a better you. Yeah, you might have had this default setting of running and hiding in the bottle, running and hiding in your drugs, or worrying and hiding and worrying yourself to death. That might have been your default setting for 20 years. But now that you know, you are obligated to do what? Change. When we know better, we do what? We do better. So now you know that it's not a healthy setting. So you're obligated for yourself, not for anyone else, for yourself to do better. To do better. You deserve it. You deserve it. You've been put in practice the wrong default setting forever. Now try. Put forth that same energy, that same passion, that same drive into a productive, healthier default setting. Put it to work. Try it and see how your life will change for the better. See how your life will improve once you stop going straight to the bottle, straight to drugs, straight to worrying, straight to running. See how your life will change and how your life will get better and improve. I believe in you guys. I believe that you can do it. Understand that you're not alone, that you're not by yourself, that you're not the first to run to the bottle, run to alcohol, run to drugs, run to worrying, run to hiding and avoiding the situations. You're not the first. So there's no shame. There's no shame. But now that we know better, we do better. Today has been an awesome time sharing with you. Sharing is caring. And I love you. And I'm praying for you. For those who are so faithful to listen. God bless you. Just wanted to say that. Bless you. Love you. Appreciate you. Please remember to go and check out our books on Amazon.com. Barnes & Noble, Faith vs. Fear, as well as Breaking Family Ties. Remember to support this podcast. Remember to share this podcast with someone who needs to hear it. Share it. It has been great today. It's been really great. I want you to reflect on what your default setting is. I want you to reflect on that. Okay? Now, please remember to follow me also on other social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to hearing from you. Looking forward to connecting with you. God bless you guys. Have an outstanding day. I love you, but most importantly, please remember always that God, He loves you more. God bless.